everyone. This is Margaret Manning with 60andMe. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Pearlie Ann Friedman. Pearlie Ann was a business executive for years, has her degree in business, but 4 years ago decided to make a big move, and she relocated to Thailand, her paradise, and we're speaking to her there from Koh Lanta, Thailand right now. Welcome, Pearlie Ann.
Hello, Margaret. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. The reason I wanted to chat with you, Pearlie Ann, is in our community, 60andMe, a lot of women are considering making a move abroad. You know, once your children have left home and maybe your job has ended, you've got divorced perhaps, everything's possible. So you made a decision to move to Thailand.
Absolutely.
And I made a decision to move to Switzerland. And both of us took the plunge, really, and, just started fresh. And I know I'm having some challenges, and we talked about yours as well. So let's start with a couple of things other women, might be thinking about that are like conditions for them, like, oh, I can't make a move to Thailand. I don't speak the language, or Switzerland. So let's talk about language. How did you cope with language in Thailand?
Well, a lot of people here speak English because the Thais interact with the tourists, and that's how they get their jobs.
Right.
So a lot of them speak English or really bad English. And it's easy to pick up phrases and numbers.
Right.
And I used to use Thai as much as I could, the numbers and the phrases. And I've been here quite a while, so I have taken language courses. I can read and write the Thai script. And when I begin to speak Thai to somebody, they want to speak English to me. So it's really interesting. So I speak really bad Thai and they speak really bad English. And it becomes a way that I can be friends with them. And it's the beginning of a relationship with the locals, which is wonderful.
I love that you said that it begins a relationship, because I've had exactly the same situation here. Just yesterday, I went to the butcher to buy some food or some meat for Christmas. You have to order in advance. And I took a list of things, options, and I had them translated into German. And we just sat there for 15 minutes just chatting. And then I said, Guten Tag is goodbye, have a great day. And he said, goodbye, have a nice day. We kind of compared our phrases. And you're right, he now is someone I know and can ask opinion or question of. And people appreciate you having a go, trying. So language, but how do you cope with the government documents and official things? I struggle with that because I get letters that I have to literally sit with Google or Bing Translate and, translate. How do you cope?
Well, I am in a foreign country and I'm in a remote country from Canada where I'm from. And I decided, I will do whatever is appropriate, whatever I'm supposed to do. So I make sure I have the right kind of visas, the right kind of documents when I bought my home, even dealing with the phone company, the water company. So I do get things translated. I do go to friends and ask them to read it and get advice. Mm-hmm. I never assume I know, because anything I've assumed in Thailand, I'm completely wrong, because I'm not in Canada. I'm in Thailand and everything is different. And I kind of enjoy that things are different. I don't let it bother me, because why should it be like Canada here? If it was like Canada,
it'd be snowing.
Well, I don't really want to be here. I want something different.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'd be cold. It'd be terrible. But I do make sure I'm very diligent that way, because I don't want problems with the authorities.
Same here. Same in Switzerland. You've got to be super careful. And, fortunately, my son is here and he speaks perfect German. So I can learn. But I think that's a consideration. A lot of people, when they're moving to another country, will read, everyone speaks English here, but not the government officials, not the people not the road signs. So that's a consideration for sure. How about friends? Do you miss your friends? Physically miss them?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Okay. And I'm not being mean or cruel, but I have Skype, and I Skype with my really good friends every week. And I'm in Canada about a month a year, 2 months a year, and I see them. And then some come to visit me here. But technology is fantastic. With my cell phone, there's applications where we can text all the time and it's over Wi-Fi. So I really don't miss anybody because I see them all the time. Yeah. And I've developed some fantastic friends here. Other women that are like me, that have had good careers, that are now living in paradise, beautiful homes. Mm-hmm. We look after ourselves. We like to go out. Yeah. We enjoy the social life on Lanta, yes. the sports on Lanta. So it's like they're my sisters. It's interesting. And most of them are from Europe.
It takes time though, doesn't it? I think that's an important thing to remind people who are thinking of moving abroad, is that when you get there, it's going to take a year or so to, get your own bearings and start to open up to being vulnerable, really, and making new friends. And making friends as you get older isn't as easy. You don't have your children's community or your work environment. You're kind of you. Not against, but in the world.
And, I'm not afraid if I'm somewhere and I see another woman to say, hi, how are you? Yeah. And most often people here are the travelers because it is a tourist destination.
Yes.
But we say hi. And if I see somebody a couple of times, it's like, oh, do you live here? Are you here for the season? And Koh Lanta has a big expatriate community. We have our own Facebook page where we know what events are going on, what's happening on the island. And I go to events. Now I'm going with my friends, but if my friends are in their home country and I'm here, I'll go to things because the only way to interact and meet people is to go out and get involved and to do things.
Do you know, in some ways, Pearlie-Ann, I don't know if you agree with this, but in some ways for me, I've made some better friends here than in my times when they were associates related to a job or related to a role that I was playing. Now I can choose my friends on what I love to do and, the places I love to go with them. So in a way, it's not so much deeper friendship, but it's more relevant and more exciting. Would you agree?
I think that is so important because when you're at work, you have work friends. But when you leave work, you really have nothing to talk to them about. You were only talking to them about work. Yeah. Whereas now the friends I'm meeting are more like me.
Yes.
And I feel, I think the friendship is developing quicker because we are very much alike. And we seem to have had similar backgrounds, which is interesting, considering that I grew up in Canada, they grew up in Sweden and Germany and England.
Yes.
But I think wherever you grow up, the core things are similar. The education, the level of work that you achieved, the independence you achieved, your maybe financial background. And
right. And also you can choose people like based on the passions that you have. Like I know you love cats, right? I know I saw one of them running on you the other minute ago, and you love your cat. So people that you make friends with are almost certainly going to be animal lovers, and that makes a difference in the quality of the friendship.
Yeah, cat lovers as opposed to dog lovers.
Well, just animal lovers. But what about Yeah, so talking about new governments and, just the rules and regulations of living in another country, I in Switzerland love the structure, the fact that things get done, everything's very organized, with the trains, it's the old adage that they run on time, and they really do. But in your situation, so from that perspective, I'm pretty comfortable. I love it here. But for you, you've got an unstable political environment. So how do you deal with that?
My expectations are very low. And just the train or the bus, I look at times as suggestions. So if the train is going to take off at 9, it's a suggestion. And people think, oh my God, how do you do it? But, I'm there at 9. If it doesn't go at 9, it'll go at 9:30. 9:15, and it'll get me where I'm going. So it's okay. Because really, at the end of the day, if I'm 20 minutes late, I know I might be. So I just make sure that I'm flexible. So I think being in a country like Thailand, flexibility is the most important thing. That I'm not going to worry about things. I'm not going to worry when I ask somebody a question and they say yes, and they laugh because I know the answer is really no. So I've learned how to figure out when yes means yes and when yes means no.
The subtleties.
And it's okay.
Yeah, no. So I think that you just, like you say, you just reset your expectations to be a local. I think that's the key thing, is that you don't, for you, local means, expats who speak English too. So you're not completely in a situation where, you're being local. Like, for example, if you went to Russia, you really do have to speak the language in anywhere outside of Moscow. It's, there's parts of the world where it's the local people really don't speak English, and you would need to adapt.
Yeah.
Another word I think.
We have
go ahead.
There's an expression here called "no problem," my pen rye, and that is all the time. My pen rye. Right. You ask somebody, "Can you do that?" or "When is this happening?" and they look at you, and my pen rye, my pen rye.
My pen rye.
It'll happen.
It'll happen sometime. That's the same in India, actually. They say, "No problem, 20 minutes." Whatever you want, no problem, 20 minutes. And then, like, you give them 20 minutes and they can find anything for you, deliver any service. It's just great. So, so we talked about friends, technology. I mean, this is one thing that I have not had to worry about, because technology here is great. The internet's wonderful. But even as you can see in our video today, you're a little bit in the dark. The lighting and internet's a little shaky. How have you coped with that?
When it's working really well, it's a bonus.
Yeah. Again, I guess
I'm a technology person, but at the end of the day, you can still kind of see me, you can hear me, and that's okay. The lines seem to go up and down, even though we have high-speed fiber optic. Okay, but my pen run.
My pen rye. I think this is a great conversation. I hope that the ladies watching this, or women and men watching this, have found it interesting, because a lot of people do think about making a plunge and traveling abroad, making a new start in a new country. And here's two people. We did it. We survived. And I just really appreciate your time. It's wonderful to chat with you, Pearlie Ann.